Welcome back. We have a knife. I don't know if it just drives you crazy as the audience, but this is a knife that I cannot remember what it is. So I'm gonna unbox it unknowingly, and I do that oftentimes. I could definitely do more research before I jump into these, but I enjoy it. So sorry if you don't like it, but it's one of my favorite kind of unboxings that I do on the channel is when I just go in blind and I get a little bit surprised by what it is. Hopefully pleasantly, sometimes unpleasantly. I'm like, yeah, that one. Why didn't I do that? I was delirious. Stayed up a little too late at night and bought that knife. Maybe had a drink or two. All right, a lot of good tape work on this particular one. So he will be a passing the 7th grade in his Rube Goldberg project. Oh, is 7th grade or 8th grade? Please put that in the comments if it's 7th grade or 8th grade. I can't remember what Rube Goldberg was. It feels like something that should be the 8th grade, but I don't know. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Now I remember. I like this. I don't think I've ever seen someone do that before. That's pretty fun. All right. A Factor. There have been a bunch of these. You know, they sold a few thousand of them, and there have been a bunch hitting the market. Some of them grossly marked up. Oh, that's cool. I don't know if that comes from the seller or from Winterblade. That's from, well, I don't know. Appreciate it either way. But yeah, I've seen some that have been terribly marked up and some that have been very reasonably priced. All right, let's get into it. I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, I think I got this one. I think I YOLO'd it first on Reddit. I think that's what happened here. Such a cool knife. So I think there are a few different color combos. I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to go double check and do a little research on them. Looks like this one, all the stuff's in its original packaging, which is cool. Another one I got didn't come with all the original packaging like this, so I like this, you know, my style as a collector. And what's interesting is, oh yeah, there's that ting. Oh, very good ting on this one. Oh, that's cool. So if that's the case, and if this person hasn't put in the higher detent magnets, this one feels like it has better detent than the one that I have that the seller supposedly put in the higher detent magnet, which is interesting. So you can look in here and see how things kind of come together. Excuse me. Anyways, let's see if I can get the thumb going here. Yeah, this one has like a lot higher detent than the other one I have. And the ting is awesome on this one. Cool, now I don't feel so bad for buying two. These things are fun. They're super fidgety. They're really unique. They make you think about what's possible in knives. I'm really optimistic and enthusiastic about what this represents for the market. I'm not here to tell you that this is a foundational change, yeah. It's not an evolutionary step forward in terms of user experience. But if you don't know, the first jet was not faster. The first US made jet, I don't know about this in Germany, but the first USA made jet, the first jet made in the USA was not faster than the fastest prop plane at the time. But that didn't mean that they didn't know that that wasn't the future. And I don't know that this is necessarily a future. There's so much technology available in knives. I don't think the future is anything in particular. I think the future is diversity, frankly, in terms of what options we have as consumers. But it does bring up some really interesting opportunities. And a good example of that is what could be done with this technology on this knife. Well, this knife has a very light initial detent, then it hits a ramp and has pretty strong detent from here to there, and then it flips open the rest of the way, the Demco 80-20.5. And you could say the same for like Benchmade bug outs and everything that has a spring-based detent, right? Here's the Kunwu same issue. You got a very light detent to start, and then it kind of ramps up and goes, and it can create some inconsistency in how you deploy. Now, if you had the magnets in here, imagine how that could potentially increase the detent on a spring-based knife like this one. So there are some possibilities on what this could go into in the future. The ting is so good on this one. So yeah, this is exciting. And I'm glad I got this one, because this one is really, really fresh and new feeling. And I'm excited about that. This other one I got is good, but it's not quite as fresh and new. And I don't know if that's because the person took it apart and did the work on it, but there's definitely a difference here. So in fact, if you watch the unboxing video on this, it's pretty dirty. Like, it almost seems like a batch one or something, in terms of like, there's no way this person just got this a week ago. But this one has really no ting. And I read up on what he said. Over time, it'll develop the ting and or go tighten down all your screw hardware and everything. So I tightened everything down, and I'm still barely getting any. And just the detent is so much lighter on this one. So I initially thought that the detent thing on this was just how the second gen was. I thought maybe this batch 2 is just a little lighter on the detent than the batch 1. But I think this one's just not quite right. Like, something's not right in here. I don't know what it is. So I'll probably have to take that one apart entirely and get into it and figure out what this person did to it. Because this ain't quite right. It's not bad. I mean, it's still great, actually. And it's easier for the thumb deployment. Of course, now I can't do it. Sorry, bear with me. And when I overthink it, then I can't do it. But this one is just crispy and sweet. This is awesome. I'm curious, it looks kind of like the blade ends up touching this little ceramic, maybe it is landing pad. I don't know what that is exactly, plastic or something. But I think that's there so that when the magnet, oh, that's interesting. So this one, the magnet's loose end, and he did mention that when it's out, that sometimes you'd have a little looseness. You can shim it up and stuff if you want to, but that could be a thing. But the magnet on this one moves as the blade comes in. And the magnet on this one does not. The magnet on this one's stuck. And I see this little open seam here. So I wonder if this thing needs to be operated on. Oh no, that one has the open seam too. So you can see in there on that one too. I don't know. We'll see. Does that come out as easily on this one? No. This one's got a really good magnetic detent going. And this one's really loose. Like there's something amiss. So interesting though that this one doesn't have the, and this is not on, you know, I'm buying these on the secondary market because I missed the drop. So this is really not on Winterblade. This is on whoever took this knife apart. The seller I got it from had bought it from a guy. This has already been sold twice in like a week. He got it from a guy that sold it and had switched the magnets. And I don't think this is put back together quite correctly. So I gotta look into that. But yeah, you can see that the magnet pulls the blade over and like rests it against that I'm so confused. Is that plastic piece moving? Does that also have a magnet? Kind of looks like it, huh? Let's see if we can tell better over here. Well, I'm gonna do a little bit of learning. He's got some really great educational videos on how to like take the knife apart and stuff. I've already watched one of them, so I may have to spend some time on that. But really glad to get this new one in that just feels more minty fresh. Has that ting. Because that one feels a lot more like my friend's first gen one that I tested. By the way, on the first video, I missed that this is changed from Gen 1 to Gen 2. And Gen 1, it's just like one little channel, and Gen 2, it's like a few channels there on that hardware. It looks a little better. Super interesting knives. Well, I think this one's going to require a little work offline. I'll have to get into it, but very excited to have this version of it. Is it the silver or the sand? I don't know what. I think it's silver, but I'm not 100% sure what I'm looking at here. I don't think it really says anything about the version or anything on the paperwork here. It just says handle, tie, carbon fiber. So M390 blade steel. I'll have to do a little research offline. Well, the delivery truck's here and the dog's about to go nuts, so we will call it at that. Thanks for being here. Please comment, like, subscribe, tell me what I don't know in the comments, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.